biggest game on the slate. That's where I'm going. Boston Celtics in Philadelphia. Give me the Celtics -2 in this spot here. Talk about scheduling. This is a scheduling spot, and I just think Boston's better. What I to be completely honest, Jay and AC, I don't know one thing that Philly does better than Boston. I'm going to get into it right now. Well, let's talk about the scheduling because that's, I think, is an important piece in this cap. 4 games in 6 days for both Boston and Philly. But the Sixers are on the back-to-back. Listen to these numbers for the Celtics against teams with the rest that they have the rest advantage and on the second leg of a back-to-back. Celtics 10-1 ATS in their last 11 with the rest advantage. They will have that against Philly coming in. Celtics have won 21 games in a row versus teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. That is the Philadelphia 76ers. Boston been smashing people since they lost to Philly last week. They beat up the Nets by 14, the Raptors by 23, the Knicks by 16. And that was when the Raptors were playing some of their best ball. They started slow, and they started to come on a little bit. Boston absolutely packed them up. Oubre out for Philly hurts more than I think we realize. I hope he gets well soon in the car with the car accident that he's dealing with. But that hurts for Philly. That he was one of those guys that was putting up, 17, 18, 19 points a night and was making up for that 4-man 100 points a game between him, Tobias, Embiid, and Maxey. So I think that's big, Oubre being out. Sixers, let's talk about the schedule just throughout the year, because right now the Sixers are probably one of the hottest teams in the NBA. Been getting talked about, nothing but positive things, and rightly so, but I'm not so sure the competition has been too tough. Sixers have played the 18th toughest schedule throughout to start the year, according to Dunks and Threes. And I think that's being a little generous. If you go through and look at who they played, I think that's a little soft. In other places, I've seen it as low as like the 23rd or 24th strength of schedule. Now, as I mentioned on the top, I think Boston does just everything better. Everything Philly does really well, Boston does just as well. And their strength of schedule has been sensational. Number 5 strength of schedule according to Dunks and Threes. If this game was in Boston, I'd have it -5.5. I'll lay the 2 with Boston in Philly without question. Let me repeat those numbers. Celtics 10-1 ATS in their last 10 games with the rest advantage. 21 in a row the Celtics have won when the team is on their second leg of a back-to-back, and that will be the Sixers. AC, how do you feel about this matchup? How do you feel about the Boston play for me?
Yeah, it's Boston or nothing for me as well. So I agree with you there. Not only that, I don't typically do this. I don't ladder plays. I don't do that for props or sides or totals, things like that. But if you think Boston's going to cover this too, they're most likely going to cover 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to double-digit win, to be honest. I think this is a game where it's not only a great revenge spot for Boston, who just lost to Philly six days ago, but Philly was riding high, right? Maxey just had 50 2 games ago. Embiid and those boys are getting tired. This is almost like a scheduled loss, similar to what we saw with Orlando. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they sit Embiid for the game, right? I don't know what I don't know what the ramifications are for, load management, all the new rules here in the new NBA, but don't be surprised if he plays, but then only plays like 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, Jay, and 8 of those last 9 games, so Philly's been red hot, right? 8 of those last 9 games have been in Philadelphia. They've been chilling at home. Essentially, you could almost say they've been beaten up on weak competition at home in Philly comfortably, while Boston's been beaten up on some of the best teams in the NBA.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I can't say I'd like to have Porzingis in there, but regardless, you bring up some great points about the rest advantage. Even though they don't have to travel anywhere, you just played 2 games versus the Indiana Pacers. This is a team that loves to run up and down the court the whole game. And I was watching it. I love watching games the day before when teams are on the back-to-back. I mean, Embiid looked tired. Maxey looked tired. Embiid played 38 minutes. He was already questionable with hip soreness and ended up playing. So you see what I'm saying? So honestly, I wanted the Sixers to win that game, because I was going to be right here with you on the Celtics in this particular spot, but I'd still lean their way. Embiid 38 minutes, Maxey 38 minutes as well, Tobias Harris 37 minutes, Milton, who balled out tonight, 35 minutes. The bench is not really giving them a ton of production. I said this in the last game. This is why I took the Pacers once again. The bench had only scored 10 points in the first game versus the Pacers. They only scored 6 in the second game. They're not getting any bench production from the Philadelphia 76ers, and obviously Oubre being out hurts even more. They didn't have Batum on Tuesday night as well, so the Sixers are having to rely on their starting five a ton, and they could come back to bite them in this one. The Celtics in a revenge spot, ESPN national TV game. If we get Porzingis in there, I'm definitely going to be on the Celtics as well.
AC, any last thoughts on that? That's a great point from Jay.
My last thought is it looks like 3-0 again, boys. But we knew this coming in with Philly, right? Even though they emptied the clip when they let go of Harden and they got all these role players and rotational players back. We knew Nick Nurse is not going to play his bench guys, even though it was the first night of a back-to-back. Your guys are already tired. Indiana is about to drop 130 on you, and he's still not playing his bench guys. So we'll see what happens, on the second night of a back-to-back. But I agree with you, Sean. Like it's Boston or nothing for me. And again, look for the alternate spreads as well.
I'm gonna tell
He
you
played the bench guys. He played the guys. They just can't score. You Patrick Beverly, Daniel House, Marcus Morris Sr. These are not offensive guys, like whatsoever. Covington, which he was moved into the starting lineup. So I'd be interested. He only played 16 minutes. They don't really have a ton of guys to trust outside of Tobias Harris, Embiid, and Max and Milton. You basically got a big four, and that's it. You can't even count on the bench giving you 20 bench points. So this team is really thin, and on a back-to-back, that just really magnifies that even more.
Yeah, if D Melton's gonna give you 30, you got to get a W. I don't care. That's it, and that's all. I don't care if it's a back-to-back, home and home. If D Melton gives you 30, you better be in the win column. I agree across the board. This is why I'm on Boston -2. I would take it up to 3.